TLE 6, Home Economics. Quarter 3, Week 3. Let's learn about preparing and allocating of family budget. Hello kids, it's me, Teacher Frel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell for the latest video. You can also follow my Facebook page, Teacher Frel TV. For today's lesson in TLE 6, we will discuss about preparing and allocating of family budget. For most essential learning competencies, allocates budget for basic and social needs such as food and clothing, shelter and education, social needs like social and moral obligations. These are birthdays, baptisms, etc. Family activities, school affairs, savings or emergency budget like health and house repair. Manages family resources efficiently and prioritizes needs over wants. What I need to know. Budget refers to the total amount intended for the expenses of the whole family. The budget of the family must be used wisely and carefully planned to determine how much money will be spent or allocated during a certain period. The lesson discusses on how to prepare and allocate budget for a family. First, food and clothing. Second, shelter and education. Third, social needs like social and moral obligations, which are birthdays, baptisms, etc. Family activities, school affairs, savings or emergency budget, for example, health or house repair. Manages family resources efficiently and prioritizes needs over wants. Before you start, try to answer the following questions. This will help you find out what you already know about the topic discussed in this module. What I know. Read the following statements carefully. Write T if the statement is correct and F if the statement is false. Do this on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. Small amount of savings should not always be included in the budget. Is the statement correct or not? True or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 2. Planning of expenses is important because it minimizes the chances of wasteful spending. Is the statement correct? True or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 3. Learn to share household work so that you can save on wages for helpers. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 4. Wants are more important than needs, so limit your spending based on what you want only. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 5. Live simply and accordingly to your means. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 6. You can give even if you are poor. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 7. Always take advantage of discount sales. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 8. Follow your family budget religiously. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. Number 9. The biggest amount of income is spent for food. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is false. The sentence should be, the biggest portion of the family income is spent for food. And number 10, alternative ingredients can be used instead of expensive ones. Is the statement true or false? Very good. The correct answer is true. And now, let us proceed for our discussion. Preparing and allocating family budget. Managing family resources maximizes the best of the available resources of the family. The standard of the family members reflects the budget and distribute the expenditures, comfort, and wants. This can be found in ourselves, homes, and community. Proper management of resources is important to meet and improve the necessary needs of the family. Study the given picture. Tell something about it. Answer the following guide questions. First question, how many members are there in the family? According to the picture, there are 5 members in the family. For question number 2, why do you think they are happy? My answer is, the family in the picture is happy because they have enough budget to support their needs and wants. And for the third question, do you think the needs and wants of the children are provided by the parents? Why or why not? Here is my example answer. Yes, the needs and wants of the children are provided by their parents, which often depends on various factors, such as the family's financial situation, values, priorities, and parenting style. What's new? Below is a sample of budget expenses of Soriano family with a monthly income of 35,000 pesos. Try to analyze and answer the following questions. Do this on a separate sheet of paper. Monthly budget expenses of Soriano family. As you can see, the budget for food is 15,975 pesos. Their budget for clothing is 7,100 pesos. Their budget for education is 3,050 pesos. And their budget for miscellaneous expenses is 8,875 pesos. And now let us answer the following guide questions according to the monthly budget expenses of Soriano family. For the first question, how much is the total income of the family? So the budget for food is 15,975 pesos. Their budget for miscellaneous expenses is 8,875 pesos. Their budget for clothing is 7,100 pesos. And their budget for education is 3,050 pesos. And then add them. So the total income of the family is 35,000 pesos. This is the total income of the family every month. How much is allotted to food, clothing, and education? The budget for food is 15,975 pesos. The budget for clothing is 7,100 pesos. And the budget for education is 3,050 pesos. Third question, did the family spend their income wisely? Why or why not? For me, my answer is, food is a vital expense and this amount seems reasonable, particularly for a large family. Miscellaneous expenses are also reasonable if they cover essentials like transportation, medical bills, or savings. However, I think clothing expenses are not acceptable to spend on every month as they are higher than the education allowance. Education should be given more importance than clothing because it is an investment in the future, and the current allocation seems relatively low compared to other categories. Fourth question, which of these expenses are considered wants and considered needs? Here is my answer. Food and education expenses are considered needs. Miscellaneous expenses are partially a need if they cover necessities such as transportation, healthcare, or savings. While spending on clothing every month could be considered a want unless it is for essential uniforms or replacing worn-out clothes. Miscellaneous expenses are partially a want if they include leisure activities, entertainment, or luxury items. Let us study about the budgeting family resources. Family budgeting is a wise use of family resources. It is a practical skill which everyone should know and apply in life. Wise budgeting allocates primarily for basic needs. It also provides for emergency funds. These may include the expenses when one gets sick or other urgent needs. Every member should know how to prioritize their needs. He or she should know if what he or she is buying really a need or wants. In budgeting, there is the 70-20-10 principle, where 70% of the family income goes to family expenses, 20% for savings or investments, and 10% for emergency purposes. This can be monthly depending on the pay schedule of the members. The basic needs of the family include the following. Number 1, food. The biggest portion of the family income is spent for food, including the other needs or things bought in the groceries and sari-sari store. Number 2, housing. It includes rental fee, real estate taxes, premium on insurance, repair and maintenances. Number 3, clothing. This includes all kinds of clothing being used by the family, like shoes, socks, handkerchief, and others. Number 4, education. It refers to tuition fees, books, school supplies, and allowances. Number 5, payment for services. It refers to electricity, water, and telephone bills, and helper's salary. Number 6, savings. It refers to the amount being set aside for emergency expenses or future plans. Number 7, miscellaneous expenses. It includes gifts, medicine, and contributions. Here are sample computation of a family budget. Mendoza family is composed of 4 members, the parents, and the 2 daughters. Their combined net income is 24,000 pesos. Following the 70-20-10 principle of budgeting, their budget can be presented as shown below. 70% of 24,000 pesos is equals to 16,800 pesos, which is the expenses. 20% of 24,000 pesos is equals to 4,800 pesos, which is the savings. And 10% of 24,000 pesos is equals to 2,400 pesos, which is the emergency fund. Expenses of 16,800 pesos are breakdown as follows. 11,300 pesos is for food allotment. 3,500 pesos is for allowances or baon. 500 pesos is for electric bill. 300 pesos is for water consumption. And 1,200 pesos is for miscellaneous needs. The family wishes to provide priorities to their needs. Thus, budget must be strictly observed. When anybody gets sick, the emergency fund may be used. The allotment for savings or investment should not be touched as much as possible. Later on, the savings may be spent for bigger expenses like appliances, payment for children's tuition, special occasion to celebrate, and other similar purposes. If the family needs cannot be met by the allotted figures, a little revision may be done. Expenditures may be reconsidered and adjustments must be made. Family expenses. Expenses are things that you buy or pay for. There are different expenses that will satisfy the needs and wants of the family member. Below are the types of expenses you should consider in budgeting your family income. Number 1 is fixed expenses. These are expenses which are obliged to pay regularly like monthly payments, insurance premiums, taxes due, or pledges to church or charitable institutions. Number 2, variable or flexible expenses. These are expenses that will vary in cost depending on the family's current needs. It varies on monthly expenses of the family. Number 3, expenses that are paid for you by your employer. These are special expenses not listed in your budget and differ from one person to the other. It includes expenses from your paycheck like withholding tax, GSIS or SSS, and Pag-ibig Fund. Number 4, emergency expenses. This includes expenses of unexpected events then corresponding to or such for special occasions or monetary aid for bereaved family. Here are factors to consider in effective home management. Number 1, available family resources. These are the human and material resources. Number 2, activities of the members of the family. The choices or duties to be given to each member should fit the schedule of activities of these members so they can be successfully carried out with least conflict with regards to time, energy, and relationship with other members. Number 3, priorities of the family. These include the goals and objectives in life. It also serves as guide of the family in the management of the activities and target. Number 4, the values, attitudes, and habits of the family. It includes the best practices of the family in facing and overcoming problems or situations that may happen anytime at home. And number 5, conditions in the community. The family is part of the community, which includes social interactions among the members of the community. It also includes planning and preparation for managing family resources. Here are the different tips in managing the family income wisely. Number 1, have a simple living, needs and wants. Number 2, prepare simple menu or dish with complete nutritional value requirement. Number 3, in going to the market or grocery store, bring money just enough to buy the things that are needed. Number 4, taking good care of personal things will help you protect it from damaging and destroying things, which prevents you from buying things again. Number 5, use your creativity to make things functional out of garbage like plastic and metal. Number 6, find ways to have fun, leisure, and relaxation without spending too much. Number 7, walk in going to nearby destination. It is good for your health. And number 8, ride in public utility vehicle like jeepneys instead of using your own car. That way you can save money for fuel. Let us talk about this. Number 1, what are to consider in preparing a family budget expenses? And here is my example answer. The things to consider in preparing a family budget expenses are: number 1, fixed expenses. Number 2, variable or flexible expenses. Number 3, expenses that are paid for you by your employer. And number 4, emergency expenses. For number 2 question, what are the tips in managing the family income wisely? So again, the tips in managing the family income wisely are: number 1, have a simple living, needs and wants. Number 2, prepare simple menu or dish with complete nutritional value requirement. Number 3, in going to the market or grocery store, bring money just enough to buy the things that are needed. Number 4, taking good care of personal things will help you protect it from damaging and destroying things, which prevents you from buying things again. Number 5, use your creativity to make things functional out of garbage like plastic and metal. Number 6, find ways to have fun, leisure, and relaxation without spending too much. Number 7, walk in going to nearby destination. It is good for your health. And number 8, ride in public utility vehicles like jeepneys instead of using your own car. That way you can save money for fuel. And for question number 3, how should a family manage their resources or budget income practically? Here is my example answer. A family should manage their budget income by means of 70-20-10 principle, where 70% of the income goes to family expenses, 20% for savings or investments, and 10% for emergency purposes. For this activity, make a list of your family expenses, then classify them as needs or wants using the table below. Do this on a separate sheet of paper. Here are my examples. Our family needs are food, housing, healthcare, clothing, and transportation. Our family wants are travel, toys, expensive shoes, gadgets, and junk foods. For this activity, read and analyze the statement below. Think of ways that you can save in order to lessen the monthly expenses. For number 1, let's read the first situation. George has a 1-meter space in their backyard. What can he do in order to cut down their food expenses? Here is the possible answer. George can utilize the 1-meter space in the backyard for urban gardening to grow fresh produce and reduce food expenses. Number 2, the De Goma family lives beside the Capitol building, which is near the market. Every day, Mrs. De Goma goes to the market to buy. What is the best thing she can do in order to cut down her transportation expenses? Here is the possible answer. Mrs. De Goma can reduce her transportation expenses by means of walking or biking. Number 3, Luisa is in college. Her class schedule is only in the morning. What will she do in her free time? Here is the possible answer. Luisa can make the most of her free time in the afternoons by focusing on activities that benefit her personal growth, academic goals, or future career. Number 4, Ali is in grade 6. His family owns a sari-sari store. His mother hires a helper every weekend to look after the store, thus adding to the monthly expenses. In what way can Ali help her mother save extra money? Here is the possible answer. Ali can help his mother save extra money by contributing his time and effort to manage the sari-sari store on weekends instead of hiring a helper. For this activity, answer the following situations below. Write the answer on a separate sheet of paper. Adopt the 70-20-10 principle of budgeting for the following families. Show the recommended breakdown of their expenses. Number 1. Besana's family with 4 family members. Combined net family income is 70,000 pesos a month. And here are the breakdown of their expenses. Expenses, 70%. 70% of 70,000 pesos is 49,000 pesos. This budget is for expenses. Savings, 20%. 20% of 70,000 pesos is 14,000 pesos. This is for the savings. And emergency fund, 10%. 10% of 70,000 pesos is 7,000 pesos. This is for the emergency fund. Number 2. Tubong Banwa's family with 5 family members. The combined net family income is 30,500 pesos a month. And their breakdown of expenses. Expenses, 70%. 70% of 30,500 pesos is 21,350 pesos. This is for their expenses. Savings, 20%. 20% of 30,500 pesos is 6,100 pesos. This is for the savings. Emergency fund, 10%. 10% of 30,500 pesos is 3,050 pesos. This is for the emergency fund. And for number 3, Binondo's family with 4 family members. The combined net family income is 80,500 pesos a month. Breakdown of expenses. Expenses, 70%. 70% of 80,500 pesos is 56,350 pesos. This is for their expenses. Savings, 20%. 20% of 80,500 pesos is 16,100 pesos. This is for their savings. Emergency fund, 10%. 10% of 80,500 pesos is 8,050 pesos. This is for the emergency fund. For this activity, complete the paragraph below. Let's answer. The factors to be considered in preparing feasible and practical budget are income, expenses, savings, and priorities. In managing family resources, the members of the family must learn to plan, save, and prioritizes needs and goals. For this activity, compute your family income and expenditures. This is confidential, and so do not verbalize or tell it to the class. While doing this, you can ask for assistance from your teacher. Evaluate if your family does or does not practice wise spending. Number 1. How much is the combined income of your family? For example, the combined income of your family is 50,000 pesos. Number 2. Following the 70%, 20%, and 10% rule, compute the supposed expenditures of your family. For example, the combined income of your family is 50,000. 70% of 50,000 is 35,000 pesos. Then 20% of 50,000 is 10,000 pesos. Then 10% of 50,000 pesos is 5,000 pesos. Number 3. Does your family expenses fall within the 70% allotment for family needs? Number 4. Do you have allotment for savings and emergency need? And number 5. If your expenditures are far above the allotted 70%, what measures can you propose to cut down your expenses? And for the assessment, complete the table below. Prepare and allocate family budget with a monthly net income of 35,400 pesos. Use a separate sheet of paper. So kids, I will give you examples. The amount allocation for food is 11,580 pesos. The amount allocation for education is 4,000 pesos. The amount allocation for shelter is 5,000 pesos. The amount allocation for utilities is 1,200 pesos. The amount allocation for household operation is 1,300. The amount allocation for clothing is 1,000 pesos. The amount allocation for recreation is 700 pesos. The amount allocation for savings is 7,080 pesos. And the amount allocation for emergency funds is 3,540 pesos. So the total expenses is 35,400 pesos. So kids, do you understand our lesson for today? Wow! Good job! Kids, I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. Until our next topic, bye-bye kids! Thanks for watching!